All right, recording on episode 100. I started this channel to talk about stuff that the other gun tubers don't talk about. This subject I have never seen. I have try that one more time. I started this channel to talk about stuff that the other gun tubers don't talk about. This subject I have never seen discussed by anybody before. So, let's talk about it. Before I go down this path, I will say I have willingly and carefully chosen this path where I might have to end another human life. I chose it of my own free will and have worked continuously on it from the day I first made that decision over 30 years ago. It is not something I want to do. However, I have prepared myself as best I can do to not hesitate at that critical moment. When I started this channel, I was going to make this subject the subject of the first video. However, prudence suggested I wait because this will be very uncomfortable. So now we're talking about it after you've gotten to know me and the episode odometer is rolling over. Before I get started, there is a book I want to recommend that you read. It is by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, United States Marine Corps, and the title is On Killing. I have an Amazon link in the notes below. It is a clear and concise relating of the psychological stress of combat in history from basically since when we started writing things like this down until today. I can't suggest highly enough that you read it. Everybody talks about building the skills to be fast and accurate in the use of our firearms in a life and death situation. How to move and shoot, get off the X, be aware of your surroundings, and all that. That includes of what to say and how to act after the event so you avoid or minimize the legal ramifications of your act. No one talks about the quiet moments in the aftermath of such an event. For the rest of your life, there will be moments when the memory and emotions of that moment when you dropped the hammer and took a life will resurface unbidden, making you relive that moment like it just happened. What do you do when it happens? As a little bit of an anatomy lesson, your memories are recorded in different parts of your brain depending upon what they are. All memories are processed, sorted, indexed, and cataloged in your hippocampus. Think about the old-time library card catalog. The day-to-day memories are basically on post-it notes scattered about your neocortex. The emotional content of your memories are either painted or gashed in stone with an angle grinder in your amygdala. And it's the amygdala that loves throwing those memories and emotions in your face every time you stop thinking about something specific. For the sake of this topic, we'll say you were forced into a violent encounter that you tried to avoid and de-escalate. You were forced to engage an attacker with lethal force. Thanks to your training, you arranged for the dirtbag to meet St. Peter. The police and district attorney clearly stated you were a textbook case in self-defense. You were never arrested or charged. The family of the dirtbag was told they had a 0% chance of getting anything from you in a civil suit. Your family and friends all said you had no choice, you did the right thing. Even then, sometimes late at night, you'll awake from a deep sleep reliving that moment. Every terrible second, you question God, you question yourself. And the bad news is there are no answers coming. I have no answers for you either. All I can say is I had that conversation before I ever strapped up. It took 3 months of me being alone for a couple of hours with no distractions so I could pull my soul out, look it over, and really ask and answer that question. Can I end another human life? I did that at least weekly for those 3 months. Even if you have agreed with yourself that you can and will, there's no real guarantee that you actually will. All you can do is make that decision, then train, and then train some more to get your body to take care of things autonomously the second your brain screams threat. And in the aftermath, what can you do? Years ago, I was an instructor for a class that originated out of Australia called Mental Health First Aid. That's where I got this. He's a koala because it's from Australia. He's the mascot. The link to Mental Health First Aid is below. Like you are taught in BLS or Red Cross First Aid, if you find a wounded person, they teach you how to stop the bleeding and keep them breathing until professionals arrive. Mental Health First Aid is the same thing, but for mental health crises. You are trained to recognize when a person is in a mental health crisis, and you keep them from doing anything stupid and permanent until professional help arrives. The 4 broad categories I covered in the class were anxiety disorders, depression, psychotic disorders, and PTSD. I taught that PTSD was a very subjective disease. 2 people can be standing right next to each other and witness the same event. One of them will go on and live a regular life, seemingly unaffected, while the other one will not be able to cope or process it, and as their response, retreat into alcohol or drug abuse to numb those memories. And there is no way to tell beforehand which one you will be. You can improve your odds of being the first person by essentially desensitizing yourself by training. No guarantees though. And the severity of the event is also very subjective. A situation that most people don't even notice can have a lifelong, ruinously disruptive effect for another. And if you can't handle something like this on your own, never be afraid to ask for professional help. A counselor or psychologist is trained to listen and gently prod you to get you to understand yourself and come up with your own solutions. It's called the Prochaska Di Clementi States of Change model. Yes, I've read motivational interviewing. If your counselor or psychologist starts offering advice, run away and find someone else because that's not their job. And that's your lesson for today in psychology. My personal response for when I get thoughts and emotions like this that are very upsetting is the Spock treatment. That's Spock, not shock. This is where you have an imaginary Mr. Spock from Star Trek at your elbow, logically calling you out on your irrational thoughts. If your internal monologue keeps guilting you with, you killed a man, Imagine Spock saying, "Captain, you were forced into that situation and logic dictates you had no other choice. You did not seek that encounter out and you attempted to de-escalate the situation. It was either him or you, and you logically chose yourself." To be ready for that critical moment, daily work and practice on developing and enhancing your firearms is essential. A daily sharpening of the skills of paying attention to what's going on around you, the tactical bros call it situation awareness, that's also important. Training your OODA loop skills and thinking about verbal de-escalation skills are critical, because the best gunfight you'll ever be in is the one that doesn't happen because you avoided it. The most important thing you can do is undertake those conversations with yourself, convincing that little scared internal child who doesn't understand why that sometimes we have to do terrible things that we don't want to do, yet we must do. And it will be okay. Stay safe, stay bullet free, tell your family you love them every chance you get. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. If you made it this far, thank you. If you liked this content, please hit the like button to show your support. Help me get the word out by subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to turn notifications on so you know when I post new content. If you think this content would help your friends, the share button helps you get it out to your social media. Comments mean a lot to me, good or bad. Please leave one. All right, go forth and have a most excellent day.